innovative content.
Good morning, Nigeria. It's a beautiful day here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Of course, we're reaching you live from our SRO TV studio here in Abuja. And this is Wake Up Nigeria. You're welcome to the show. How are you doing today? Yes, thank God it is Friday, and we are happy it is Friday. How are you doing today? I have with me, of course, on the show this morning. And I'm Princess Kessy. How was your weekend?
It's fine, thank God.
It's weekend. It's Friday. We're happy. Thank God it's Friday. How you doing?
Fine.
Uh,
Glad to see
you know, the national dailies. A lot of issues are coming up. Of course,
yes.
but I saw another headline this morning. I was not really happy about. Uh, I think we have another fire incident in Lagos,
Yes.
and that is really a sad one. But another thing too I like is the move of the Labour to stop federal government on the subsidy removal.
Yeah.
That is a very good one. We're already growing as Nigeria. It's drowning everybody. It's hard on everybody, and then you're trying to bring more hardship. I don't know for what reason, but I like that call from Labour as well.
Yeah.
Our viewers, you're highly welcome to the show this morning. Of course, during the show, we'll quickly move on to we are bringing a guest that will be discussing some of these very interesting topical issues burning on the hearts of the nation as well. Let's quickly take it off with the nation's newspaper this morning. And these are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here the headline says Sage, Agbokoba, Falana, interim government unknown to law. And the rider says legal giant seeks trial of plotters. Lalong, interim government schemers, daydreaming. This is coming from Lalong this morning. We also have another story here that say PDP lifts suspension on Ayim Fayoshe. Ayu's World Expo suspended. That story it's on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And of course, we have a story here also that say APC, US condemns Tinubu protest on page 5 as well of the Nation's newspaper. We also have a story here that says UBA delivers 201 billion naira full year profit. And a First Bank case name change. UK African subsidiaries on page 7 of the Nation's newspaper. Another story also coming here this morning is CCB begins probe of Kayama's anti-grift petition against Atiku. That story is on page 9 of the Nation's newspaper. Public debt now 45 trillion, says DMO. That story is on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. Have a story here that says Lagos government jail. That story is on page 9 of the Nation's newspaper. We have another story here as well that say Lagos government ready for above normal rainfall emergencies. That story is on page 9 of the paper, the Nation's newspaper. And these are some of the headlines we have this morning on the Nation's newspaper. Of course, we have a story here that is interesting, patients. I like the fact that Lagos government is already moving ahead of time, preparing for the rainfalls and all that. And I know we have one of the headlines last week or 2 weeks ago that says there was a call also that is going this year the rainfall also is going to be almost be like the one we saw last year. And you know what happened last year? It was actually terrible. And we're happy that the Lagos government is actually just moving ahead to they are preparing ahead of this rainfall emergency. So we also hope that other governments as well will take a cue from this and prepare ahead. Not that time we look for solutions here and there.
Yeah.
These are things that can be done ahead for the peace of everyone. Move
Yes, and
on.
I also think that the residents and like the citizens should also help themselves. Like those ones that stays close to riverine area, people that live close to stream or rivers, because I witnessed last year I witnessed a lot of incidents when poor issues. Like many people lost their properties, lost
You're
just like
talking
the
about
issues
property. What of the people that
the
died?
the lost cards.
The ones
I
that died.
literally I
It
saw
was it was
cards.
terrible last year,
Yeah.
and so we are really hoping that this year we don't witness things like that. We just really do hope that I love the fact that now the Lagos state government is moving ahead, that they're actually ready for above normal rain fall emergencies. So they're already putting measures in place, taking precautions, doing what they are supposed to do, clear the drainage system, and all that.
Yeah.
Waterways should be open so that when these rains come, at least
It
there's
doesn't
flow.
take like
Yes, we don't have the same issues we had last year. Okay, we move on quickly this morning to uh, the next paper we'll have.
okay, so the next paper this morning is the Daily Trust newspaper. So the major headline here says Labour cautions federal government on petrol subsidy removal. And the writer here says Nigerians worried over unclear palliative plan. Cost of living to rise by 200%, says experts, and the incoming administration must make refinery rail system work.
Trust newspaper.
Yes, daily trust newspaper. And then we also have Dangote list 300 billion naira record bond on Nigeria exchange. And you find that on the page
19.
19 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And then we also have PDP reverses suspension of Ayim Fayoshe Shima after Ayu's exit. And there was a Ramadan Daily Trust Foundation donates to orphanage in Kaduna. And then we also have Nigeria's debt rose to 46.25 trillion naira in 2022, says DMO. Name interim government plotters, CDD tells DSS. And then we also have police grill National Assembly officials over 500 million naira misappropriation. And then we also have a vice president elect visit IBB and Abdulsalam in Mina. You find that on page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And those are the news on Daily Trust
Of
newspaper
course, there's
this
a
morning.
story here that actually I love the story. The major headline: Labour cautions federal
Federal
government
government
on petrol
petrol.
subsidy removal.
I,
I
I,
love that story.
when I read it this morning, I was like, are these people really playing with our intelligence or what? They really want when we don't have refinery.
At the end of the day, I'm happy that Labour is also coming out on time. Probably let's just see how that story unfolds as time goes. And I also love this story here that say Ramadan Daily Trust Foundation donates to orphanages in Kaduna. I really want to point this out as well. I know it's during celebration time that people go to orphanage, you remember these
Yes, yes,
people,
yes.
Ramadan, Christmas, and all that
When is
Easter,
that
but
occasion?
or birthdays. But I just really hope that more people, we take a clue from this. These people actually need help. A lot of people go about wasting a lot of resources where they should not. Of course, it's your money, and we don't have the right to tell you how to spend your money. But please reach out to these children. They are orphans. They don't have parents. They don't have anyone to care for them. So do well as well to reach out for them. And quickly, I move on. Take it up from there with uh, Nigerian Pilot newspaper this morning, and these are some of the stories making waves here this morning. Public debt hits 46 trillion naira, and the writer says the MO says Nigeria's public debt goes to 46 trillion at the end of the quarter. of 2022, domestic debt stood at 22.55 trillion, while external debt stood at 18.70 trillion. That figure represents increase of 6.96, I beg your pardon, 6.69 naira compared with December 31st, 2021. Explains debt rose due to borrowing for project execution, budget deficit. All these stories can be seen on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. Of course, we have a story here that says CCB invites Keyamo over petition seeking Atiku's arrest probe. That story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have this morning, uh, federal government's military rigged me out of electoral victory. Matawale. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that say PDP reverses suspension of Ayim, Shima, Otom, others. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says powerful persons behind deforestation for charcoal business. This is coming from federal government this morning, and that story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here on page 6 that says 13 persons killed, 18 others injured in Bauchi Fata accident. That story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot. Also have a story here as well that says federal government repatriates fresh batch of 128 Nigerians stranded in Libya. Minister Juan Jubo's suits to disqualify Tinubu. That story is on page 6 of the Nigerians Pilot newspaper. We'll have a story as well that says First Bank MD August for here that says despite shocks, NDIC says nation's bank healthy. That story is on page 19 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. And these are all the stories making waves this morning. I have a story here also that is quite interesting this morning. The fact that federal government uh, repatriate fresh batch of 128 Nigerians from Libya. That is something that I know that the
It's
country is just that is
the copper
the
plate.
reason why
The inside
especially the
is
people
the
are
inside
not
is correct,
away
right?
is because of the situation, the current
The
happenings here.
problem is that
But
because I
they
need you
still
to
go to
post it,
another
because I
man's
try
country and
to
pick
try to find
spots
that
in
because
between and
inside
become
the government
slaves
is
there.
not correct.
In as much as you really want to go for
So
just
yeah,
run away somewhere for greener pastures, you
yes,
do
exactly.
avoid that you
No,
follow the
I
right
don't
channel, the right
understand.
means.
Yeah.
I know a lot of person. I know a
I
guy
work on
that
it.
traveled
I still
recently. He
work on
got
it because
married,
he's
and
going to stay
before
there
you
for
know it, it
years.
was so difficult.
So,
Though he was
no,
doing well, I
no.
really do not know why he decided to go to. He
Yes.
went to Libya. He's going to
It's
go
very,
by
very normal.
visa to Europe. Like I told the wife,
And
and we were going to this. That what are we doing? So he said to me, like, "No, why go possibly and go to the right channel because this Libya, this they try to cut corners going to Europe. It is not
Okay, no, when they get there, they will not move freely on the streets because they didn't follow the right process. So they enter the country somehow illegally and then they become stuck one place. They find it difficult to eat. They find it difficult to move. Like I've had a brother like that that traveled outside one certain time. He literally begged for his life. He begged, like it was really crazy enough that we had to go as much as we can to send to him for him to come back. So if you're not going through the right process, if you're not following the right channel, there's no point staying in Nigeria. We're not even if the country is bad, there's still you find your peace, you find your freedom, and there is nothing like freedom. You find yourself here, you can actually establish yourself here in Nigeria.
It's really sad. It's really sad that I really do hope that a lot of youth as well, now they've gone to Libya. Federal government has gone to
Bring them back.
evacuate them, bringing them back. So you are back to where you were. So it's better also you look for, you make a way and look for the right channels as well. And I also saw the story that says that a fatal crash in Bauchi. I think, like we said yesterday on the show, you could see that 13 today. Yesterday we had 25 people killed, and today that was in Niger State, and today we're seeing 13 killed, 18 others injured in Bauchi fatal accident. I also think that the road safety, we know they're doing enough. They should do more,
More.
and of course, more sensitization should be done. A lot of drivers as well, and this is rainy season. We're entering rainy season. In fact, I have to talk to an official on this. What are the do's and don'ts of this season? A lot of people, you even find out they are driving this rainy season, and then they don't have their wipers are not okay.
Yeah.
They can't see very well. They don't have side mirrors, and then when the rains are serious, I actually saw a report yesterday from the officials that says that people should learn to. We know that there are companies that their own is just to travel at night, but not for private people. They should learn to travel during the day. A lot of people also don't see far at night, and these are some of the issues, and we're going to discuss on that much later on this show. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
Okay. The next newspaper I'll be taking this morning is this Nigerian newspaper, and the major headline here says PDP in dramatic vote phase, reverses sanctions of Fayoshi, IM, and others. And the writer here says opt for reconciliation with aggrieved members. And then we also have you find that story on page 4 of this Nigerian newspaper. And then here we also have Nigeria public debt rose to 46.25 trillion naira end of December 2022, says the MO. And then we also have federal government blames state government charcoal dealers for massive deforestation. And then you find that on page 5 of this Nigerian newspaper. And then we also have Ohanese condemns sit at home order in Lagos, seek OPC leaders help. Find that on page 10 of this Nigerian newspaper. And finally, we have US jury indicts Trump. US jury indicts Trump. You find that on page 11 of this Nigerian newspaper. Those are the news for the newspaper this morning. And I think this Nigeria public debt, it's something that the nation should really worry about, because the money here, it's really not good for the nation at all. That's what I think. 46.25 trillion. We're not talking about billion, we're talking about trillion. That's really not a good one for the
And I
nation.
also think I saw a story here as well that says at least a condemned sit at home order in Lagos to sit at home. That is something that I don't think is even feasible, because Lagos is a hub, a business hub. You can't tell people what to do and what not to do. That is why when you travel to Lagos, even at night, while people are closing during the day, going home in the evening, some are resuming to do business overnight. So it's telling someone to sit at home in Lagos. That is not even something I see. I actually love that. I actually, not the story per se, but the fact that it's been long I saw his face and I'm happy. I really love Trump a lot. And then as well, I have another story here. Federal government blames state governments, charcoal dealers for massive deforestation. I do it. I know somebody that actually runs a program that's just based on issues like this. We know as well that I don't blame people. Why won't people go for the use of cheaper for them? And then this is the cost of the deforestation, because when you cannot afford gas, you can't afford even kerosene to cook. What becomes of the people, the citizens, they look for another soft landing for everybody, and of course that is what you're doing. So quickly, we move on to the next newspaper we have here right now, and this is the authority. These are some of the story making waves this morning. And the writer here says another spare parts market burns in Lagos, the second after Obi's victory in Eko. Goods worth millions of naira destroyed. This story is the major headline we have here on the authority newspaper. It's really very sad. It's sad. And then we move on quickly to some of the headlines this morning we have that says Nigeria's public debt hits 46.25 trillion naira. That story is on page 3 of the authority newspaper. And of course, we have another story here also that says no constitutional provision for interim government, Agbokoba says in page 4 of the authority newspaper. As well, we'll have another story here that says Okada ban, FCTA crushes over 400 bikes. That story is on page 3 of the authority newspaper. We have a story here also that says PDP reverses Ayim, Fayoshe orders suspension. That story is on page 4 of the authority newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says INEC issues certificates of return to KB state lawmakers elect. Congratulations to them. That story is on page 5 of the authority newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Shites police clash in Abuja. That story is on page 2 of the authority newspaper. Uh, we'll have another story here as well that says MTN team visit Abia governor elect plan investment. That story is on page 4 of the authority newspaper. Of course, these are some of the story making waves this morning, and there's a story here that is quite sad. It saddens my heart to also know that just barely 2 weeks after we saw a serious there was a spare part market in Lagos that got burnt. A lot of billions of goods were destroyed. And today again, we're seeing another one that this writer here says that the second after Obi's victory in Eko. I think this is something that needs to be checked or looked into as a matter of urgency. I don't think we all know that if you're familiar with Lagos, we know that a lot of businesses there, even hotels, are owned by the Igbo people. So that is why if you go to I know a particular area in Lagos, I'm more comfortable stay when I go to Lagos, where you have names of some of the areas are named after like Igbo names and all that, and that shows that there has been a peaceful cohabitation over the years. And I really do not know how we got here now that people can just because you choose that means you're trying to tell us you don't have a right to your vote, who to vote and who not to vote. It's really sad,
So
and in
sad.
fact this headline is just very sad this morning.
So sad.
This is not It's not worth it. People have rights to their candidates who they choose to vote for. And I don't think the security agencies need to do more as a matter of urgency. Goods worth millions of naira destroyed yet again in 2 weeks is really sad. And of course, I have a story here as well that says Shites police clash in Abuja. I have seen them before some years back
Yeah,
at
I,
at at
Yayan. I think I met them at Yayan. Back then, I was coming back from school, and then on my way coming back, I got to Yayan. You know this there's a checkpoint, military checkpoint at
Mhm.
Yayan. So they were coming protesting. They were not holding guns, nothing like gun, but they were holding stones and other things like that. So vehicles were moving. From where we were at that point, we started hearing cars, their car vehicles glasses breaking. People were running, people were shouting, and then the military. I think it was the military. Yeah, the military were shooting, and people were scattered.
The ones I saw them at Secretariat here, they were headed to the Villa's gates and the Villa gates and National Assembly gates, rather. I They were peaceful as far as I'm concerned. The ones I saw that particular day, They were very peaceful and they were in numbers, like thousands of them,
Initially they were peaceful,
all in black.
but
And then I think they were just going towards the National Assembly gates, and I had to just quickly move inside. I went quickly into the police verification center off amicably, as not to get others or people killed unnecessarily.
yeah.
Viewers, thanks. We have been on newspaper review. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more reviews. And of course, I have a guest later today in the show. Stay with us.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial product and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best of Nigeria from the rest.
Hello, viewers. You're welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and of course, we'll be taking the newspapers review. Quickly, we run through another headlines we have here this morning, and this is Friday leadership. These are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here post-election crisis in phase 7 move. PDP forgives Fayose, Shema, Otom, others on page 4 of the Friday Leadership newspaper. Of course, we have on the writer that says Damangum consolidates to reunite Atiku, G5 governors, calm, suspension reversal. These stories on page 4 of the Friday Leadership. We also have a story here as well that say UBA profits hit 201 billion naira in 2022, declare 90k final dividend. That story, it's on page 9 of the paper, that on Friday Leadership. We also have another story here that says bandit takes 49 Niger villagers to Zamfara forest, demand 30 million. That story is on page 18 of the Friday Leadership newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Nigeria's debt stock grows by 20% to 446.25 trillion naira. That story, it's on page 23 of the Friday Leadership newspaper. We have another, but before I move forward, Pat,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that uh, security needs to do more. I really feel for these people living in the northern part. On the headlines daily, we see from one community, from one state, from one village to another, where people are being adopted, kidnapped, and they just take them away. So I wonder how they're doing faring right now. Somewhere in the forest, under the rain, under this weather, you're just in the forest, away from people, from your home, and of course from everyone.
It's really, really sad. It's really sad. The moment you read that news, my heart broke because they're not just demanding for change, they are demanding for 30 million naira. And then the life of people are at stake.
And these same people you kidnap, you know very well that they are even worse than you when it comes to a living. So how do you think that they are going to come up with this money?
I just hope that the federal government will step up when it comes to security in this country because it's really so sad that people who are struggling already, people who are finding it hard to survive already, are being captured and then demanded, and then the demand is so high to the point that they, at this point, if I think I would just give myself at that point, I would just say, the will of God be done. Because if you call my mom and ask my mom for such money, even me myself knows nothing.
They can't
It
get it.
won't. It won't
It's
come
not
out.
there. It's not
So
like
I
it's there
just
then. It's not even there. The money is so much. Anyway, we hope that the security agencies will do well to go into the forest, whatever they do to rescue. We saw also yesterday on the headlines that they rescue some people at Kogi Forest, and that we
yeah.
say kudos to the security agencies on that. You're doing well. You just need to do more. And then we saw another story here as well to say how we survived tough political talk. Ireti Adebule, others says, and that story it's on the page is not there, but it's on this Friday leadership. And of course, we have another story that here they say Conduct Bureau invites Kayemo over petition against Atiku. That story is on page 14 of the Friday leadership. As well, we'll have a story here that says Benue PDP suspend Igowi World Executives. That story is on page 4 as well. And then we have another story here that says suspension reversal, confirmation of IU's misrule, Fayoshe says on page 4 as well. And then we have a story here that says Trump indicted over hash money to Porn Star. That story is on page 4 of the Friday leadership newspaper. Of course, these are some of the stories we have here making waves this morning.
And then the next newspaper this morning is First News. And the major headline here says how federal government used soldiers to stop my re-election, Zamfara governor, see? And the writer here says accuses federal government of deliberately working against his re-election for opposing Naira redesign policy. Alleged soldiers beat up APC reporters, stop them from voting. And then we also have PDP reverses Otom, Fayoshe, Shima, Ayim, and others suspension. And then we also have I didn't call for Tinubu's arrest, says Akiyemi. And then we also have Tinubu's victory irrevocable, says Senator Namani. And then we also have on first newspaper this morning why interim government won't happen under Buhari la long. And then PDP sacks mastermind of IU suspension. And then we also have Supreme Court dismisses ex-minister Wajuba's suit against Tinubu and Atiku. And then the final news this morning on First News newspaper says Nigeria's public debt rises to 46.25 trillion naira, says DMO. Those are the news.
This story, this major headline here that say how federal government used
Yes.
soldiers to stop my re-election. Zamfara governor accuses federal government of deliberately working against his re-election for opposing Naira redesign policy. Alleged soldiers beat up APC supporters, stopped them from voting. This boils down to the right human rights as well. I don't think we don't know how credible this is, but he came out and he said it. Probably he had he's having evidences as well. But it's boiled down to what I said about Lagos. People should be allowed to your choice to vote, your choice to candidate. And I run quickly right now to the next newspaper we have this morning here, uh, the Blueprint newspaper. These are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here PDP crisis. Damango preaches reconciliation because Ayim Fayoshe from suspension. And the writer says Shima too reverses decision on autumn. Our party will be stronger without Ayim. Wike insists, says I am not scared of EFCC after office. All these stories on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Also have a story here that say interim government name arrest those behind plots. IPAC says we must all say no to the call. Agbokoba, Fana, Fani Kayode, we are not party of any insurrection, Labour Party says. And as well, this we have stories here on page 5 of the blueprint. Pay rise for civil servants await Buhari's approval That's a very good one, interesting one if you ask me. We also have here a story that said Nigeria's debt rose to 46.25 trillion in 2022. DMO says on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. And of course, we'll have another story here that say another Lagos spare parts market Olu were raised. That story is on page 14 of the Blueprint newspaper as well. We have another story here that says CBB opens investigation into Atiku's SPV saga, invites Kayemo on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have another story here as well that says a popular madman arrested for molesting a lady in Onshu State. That story is on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. These are all the stories we have this morning. I think I already have a guest waiting in for us this morning. So we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll come back with a guest over some of these issues we have. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of art, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15th to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you, as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation prizes for second and third place winners. To register, kindly pay the registration fee and send your name, age, picture, and state of origin to this number 0906 895 2170. For more inquiries, please call 0907 400 7816. Powered by SRTV London, the face of SRTV.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of art, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15th to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week celebrates.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you.
All we need is love.
My fellow Nigerians, the Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, both home and abroad, especially the youths, remember.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is Wake Up Nigeria. Like I promised earlier that I'm going to come back after that quick break with a guest this morning. And so I'm here with my guest this morning on the show. How are you doing? I have with me on the show this morning Dr. Godson. How are you this morning, Doctor?
I'm doing well, okay.
How is Edo this morning? Thank you so much. It's nice to have you here as well. So on a quick one, Doctor, we have a lot of issues, a lot of medical issues that have been the federal government also has been raising alarm over issues. And then we saw my first questions to you this morning is that we have federal government raises alarm over the rise, the hype in Lassa fever. What do you think can be done? This is something that is very serious. As of the headlines 2 days ago, we saw quite a number of patients already being hospitalized as the result of this Lassa fever.
Well, the government alone cannot do or does not have all the role to play. The government alone cannot shoulder the burden of solving everything about Lassa fever. I think the private sector should also have a role to play. The private sector plays like a lot of people, a lot of humanitarian organizations out there wondering that they want to do good to humanity and feel that they want to partake or assist the government in solving this problem.
Some of these issues, yes.
Coming in and then asking the government, okay, they want to pay this, but what do the government do? Okay, they will now be an understanding and then they will come in. Rather than just the government alone, government school, government health, government this, government that. Come on. We know the government has to take care of the masses, but
Yes, doctor. So, what do you think as Nigerians? What can be done now? Let's leave the government now, like you said, but as citizens, as residents, what can be done? Because we see that federal government is raising alarm over the numbers of patients with Lassa fever. What do you think we can do to curb this as a matter of urgency?
now we have a very, very big role to play
That's right.
trying to stem the scourge of Lassa fever. Lassa fever is just the hemolytic fever caused by the Lassa fever virus, and it is transmitted via multi-mammal rats. This is normal rat.
Rodents. That's right.
What time when this rat encounter food that is open, you just go there, then you nibble some, or urinate from them, or maybe even defecate on the food that is open. And then they have to find their way into housing. People are also, that's for the part of sanitation. People on their own part go to the bushes, kill the rats, don't wash the rats properly, even eat the rats. And this, in fact, it's more of a holistic thing. We as individuals that we are not refined enough to understand that sometimes you even when you catch bushmeat, they will either skim it well, or smoke it well. But we as Nigerians or as Africans, we just go eat it and kill and put everything goes into the pot of soup and then
At the end of the day, people will have to suffer for that. We understand as well, doctor. But like I said, I asked earlier on the show, what do you think we can do to curb this? We know as well that a lot of people, even if you're somebody that reads a lot, you find out that you're supposed to some of the proteins we take in, especially when it comes to poultry products and of course meat here and there, we're supposed to cook them properly before eating, as to avoid a lot of uh, things like this we see. And don't forget also that the government as well raised the alarm over the rise of meningitis recently.
the meningitis is something, it's a bacterial infection caused by one of the either strains of the meningitis, which is currently we have the current strain C that is ravaging that is currently in vogue right now because first of all we have the climate conditions are adequate for it and for it to heat and everything. But that does not mean that it should be discouraged. Remember that at 9 months of age, a lot of us are immunized for this meningitis.
Yes.
So it is supposed not to be in around right now. But we have this strange that is ravaging and I just, I, how would I put it? At this
Is
point, we are,
do you think, doctor, do you think that I remember then, I don't know whether that is the vaccine I took actually, but there was a time in Abuja here, they were going from street to street, they were giving vaccines to people as regarding to this, to curb it. Do you think something like this should be done now, because we have a surge of it as it stands right now, and that was on the headlines as well some days ago.
we have the Center for Disease Control, National Center for Disease Control, and the way they tackle Ebola, the way they tackle the coronavirus, I feel that some this health challenges should be brought to the forefront, and there should be provisions for it. The whoever is in charge for the NCD should just listen and say, okay, we have this virus, we have this, whenever it's working, let's try to vaccinate them, let's try to, and then they get it wrong. It wasn't
And as
how to prepare to the stage of being a pandemic
a
or
pandemic.
national before government takes awareness of this thing. You understand? I think they should not even come to the forefront. It should not be at the local level where somebody will be in the office will say, okay, let's try to get it back. Let's get people vaccinated so that we stop the spread of this infection from there. I mean, meningitis is not so, I don't see that as a very big illness because that is solved by drug antibiotics, not very just about the orange.
But even at that, we saw also people see some of these illnesses as though they are very little, they are mild, they are not serious. And like we saw also yesterday on the news that if there was a certain amount of money that the federal government uses to import to bring just malaria drugs and that of typhoid, and it's quite alarming to know the rate of people actually suffering from this. And this is something that I've heard people in the past that say malaria is something that cannot leave our system, typhoid cannot leave, no matter how careful you choose to be. Now, how true is this, doctor?
Well, as long as we have mosquito in our environment, as long as we have stagnant water, as long as all around us we have dirty environment, as long as we have poor health, healthy individual, as long as we have cleanliness in our environment, it's going to be normal malaria, which is caused by another mosquito, which is spread by another mosquito, and then typhoid fever, which is caused by Salmonella typhi. We come to stay until we have a very, very good health individual. That's just the truth.
And that now bring us to as one of the headlines as well last week that says 78 million children across the nation at risk of water disease, and a lot of them are already being thrown into crisis, into hospital beds. What do you think as a doctor now can be done? We know that you people are trying, like I said earlier on the show, you are really doing well, but we cannot stop emphasizing on these things. What do you think Nigerians would do, or the government? Because if children are vulnerable to water disease, what becomes of the next generation?
Um, we until we see our children as important, until we see our children as the next generation, until we sit down and look at them as these are the people to take care of us, we're not going anywhere. Our children are very important. We have to try our best as parents. We have to do the little things that could be done. I know I'm a Nigerian. I'm not saying something out of the ordinary. I'm not saying what is obtainable in Mars or in another planet. I'm saying what is obtainable in Nigeria here. What we can do as Nigerians to protect our children from these waterborne diseases. This is as simple as creating under mosquito to get
Nets.
as
long way.
As simple as boiling our water with
Water.
drink, it will go a very long way in helping our children. And this is just small. And that's one of the little things we can do. Even immunizing them from birth can go a long way in helping solve this problem. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I understand you.
We should forget about the fact that we are doctors. No. But we also know what
The right hygiene process, what to do, the hygiene step to follow.
yeah, we should do this. We are not talking of children
Ah,
that we need to get billions. No, we don't need billions. Only water, mosquito net, good hygiene, good environment. These are little. We are saving and keeping the environment. These are little things that can be done by each and every one of us, wherever we are.
yes, doctor, but you talked about boiling of water. Most of us, we know we already do the canned water, and people in Nigeria see though as though these are the purified water. So do we still have to boil that?
But take care of that. How would I call it? Microscopic shell that about that 5% of the population that took that canned water. There are people in the hinterland who don't have even the normal structured water you drink. They don't have access to that.
That's
They take
true.
water from stream, they take water from
That's right.
Look at the people that we should need to be looking at.
Looking out for. That is true.
Regular people that take bottled water, sachet water, they are fine. Those ones are great. The hinterland.
That is very true, doctor.
Okay, doctor.
Look at people that are
They're prone to these diseases as well.
Okay, doctor. What about those people who are already sick and when they get to the hospital, they are being told that there is no bed space in the country?
You know, like on the news, the other day, we also have the issue of lack of space. Also, a loot in Lagos led to a 23-year-old death. A little girl that was brought to the hospital, and I also had a friend in Abuja. She was in labor actually, and she was moving from one hospital to another. There was no bed space because she traveled down here. No bed space, and she died on the process.
we talk about it. I want to particularly. I think a lot of people are listening, and I want to use this medium to reach out to them directly. Now, I work in a teaching hospital, and I know what it is when you say there is no dedication. It's because most people boycott people from the community. They boycott those primary health care. They boycott the secondary health care. So the next thing that you will see them coming to gunshot injury is tertiary health care. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
I'm not seeing you, doctor.
Tertiary health care, you have a lot of tertiary illnesses, cancer, a lot of people that come in with blood pressure, a lot of people that come in with stroke, all of them needing attention, and let's take it up. We can make this work by enabling or activating our primary health care centers. Our primary health centers, simple things like, oh, this kind of this, okay, this is now, okay, this kind of this, so this kind of this, having points. The big one is to be, let's make sure to be fine. These are the things that are typical at the primary health care center. Very paracetamol, giving a little that, antibiotics, something of temperature. The big one, the tertiary centers are areas that are not for people that not looking at things like when they have to solve like a
Yes. Critical issues. Critical cases. All right, doctor. So just be one question before you go. We know that a lot of doctors are jetting out of the country. Of course, I said earlier that this is due to maybe the welfare package here in the country that is not very favorable. Now, what do you think the government should do? We appreciate the ones that are left here. You people are doing good, like I said earlier as well. What do you think can be done? Because a lot of people, a lot of even nurses, a lot of countries also are offering them better. They have better options, and at some point they are just going out, and these are the cases, and that is why we had Ikori Madu's issue. If we had capable hands, I know they are capable hands, but it's even peculiar with our politicians to just any small headache they jet off. But if we have these same people that are there here, you're laughing, doctor. But it's true. I know a lot of the doctors over there in the UK, in the US, they are Nigerians as well.
And if you look carefully, that is not just so many nurses. Check the beginning with that many doctors. We train on. Okay, fine. What can government do? Come on, this is the next thing topic. And I'm there.
Yes, sir. Just give us a very light tip. What do you think can be done for you not to travel tomorrow? I don't want to see that Dr. Godson is also going out though. We need you here, sir.
Well, my specialty is radiology, oncology, and it's one thing after once I'm done, and then once as a specialist, after 3 years, I cannot practice what I specialize in. Not just it's not just in government. I would say it's more of more of like how would I call it now? It's an environment thing. Now the cost of living is very up, and these people don't want to go into it, but they want to study, they want to and then
The noise is actually much from your end, doctor. What they do.
I'm not going to. The government to understand what has to be done. And I feel that it's not just about the doctors, every other sector of the economy, everybody, they have to try their best to ensure that Nigerians are better implemented.
Well, yes, thank you so much for being part of the show this morning. We appreciate you greatly, Dr. Godson. And while you're out there at the hospital, please stay safe and take care of yourself as well. And well done. Thank you so much for taking care of a lot of patients over there. We appreciate your effort. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir. Yes, we've been on the call with Dr. Godson, and we'll be discussing some of these health issues, especially the alarming ones. He said it quite a lot. He said quite a lot. we are supposed to, as individuals, let's start from ourselves before we even go to the government. Like they said, charity begins at home. And so I really want, as an individual, we should, there's a role everybody must play when it comes to Lassa fever, when it comes to meningitis, when it comes to water disease, and when it comes to other diseases here and there. So we should be able to play our own role. Clean, like we always say on the show, live in a clean environment. Cover your food properly. If you must cook some of these proteins, cook them very well, and not just going to the bush, getting them, cooking them half done and eating, and then taking everything like the doctor said into the pot or into your stomach. And of course, if you live in the rural areas where you don't have access to clean water, please do well to pour some of this water take in. And we also appeal to government as well to provide the necessary basic amenities for these people to have a proper living.
On the last question you
Mm.
asked him, I think that should be a topic for another day because that question is actually
It's-
a good one
it's
and it's broad. It's something that you should really sit down and
analyze the
because truly we have good doctors abroad, especially talking about the Senate President case. I think the doctors that handled the case and
It's even in Nigeria.
is abroad. So if our doctors
Are
we
here.
treat they are here, of course we have
And this boils down also to the health sector. That means the government also should revive the health sector.
yes.
Because like he said also, I just got to understand something today. I've never this is my first time of hearing that if you go abroad, that means you're just practicing as a medical doctor. You cannot be a specialist.
Yeah.
You cannot practice on based on that. I don't know, but these things are just complicated.
Yeah,
So
really.
he that is here is trying to progress on what he went like be trying to be a specialist on that
His
particular field,
Yeah.
and that is something that is quite interesting. Just maybe another day we have that discussion
Yeah, we should.
on the show. And just before we go, we have two more paper headlines left here. Also, we'll take just before we close the show for today, and I'll quickly take Punch now. These are some of the stories making waves this morning. IU PDP nullifies IU. Fire shades suspension sanctions World Exco on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here. The writer says opposition party list ex Castina governor for others as peace moves begin. Party reverses autumn summons to face disciplinary panel, 6 members unity. That story is as well as on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We have another story as well that says Sonwolu Makinde, others get certificates of return, pledge good governance. That story is on page 6 of the Punch newspaper. We also have another story here that say Ondo chapter tackles Adebanjo over Afenifere chieftains. That story is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that say Whitney, Lagos arraigns Chrisland principal, others for manslaughter. That story is on page 4 and 5 of the paper. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return,
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of art, national cash crop, financial product and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation